In the heart of the Galactic Council's library, thousands of star maps floated in the air like glowing webs of light. Every world, every system, every route known to the galaxy was marked, except one. At the center of the map there was a dark, empty space. No stars, no signals, no data. Just a black void labeled in ancient code, human space. No one dared to speak of it. For centuries, ships that crossed into that zone had never returned. The Council called it the Silent Sector. Others whispered that it was a graveyard of gods. But one alien, Commander Rethar, was not afraid. He had studied every mystery the galaxy held, and this was the last one left. If no one ever came back, he said softly, then maybe something is stopping them. His crew trembled as their ship, the Seraphis, approached the border. The stars around them began to fade. Their sensors showed nothing, no planets, no radiation, not even space dust. Then, suddenly, the radio came alive. A broken human voice echoed through the static. Warning, turn back. Rethar's second officer froze. That sounded alive. Before anyone could react, the navigation lights dimmed. The engines flickered. A strange energy field surrounded their ship, pulling it forward like invisible hands. The Council's beacon connection snapped. Their ship vanished from every known tracker. In the silence of the void, the last sound recorded was a faint human whisper. You were not invited here. 3 days passed, and the Galactic Council waited for a signal from Commander Rethar's ship. None came, only silence. Then one night a faint message broke through the static, weak, cracked, almost like a ghost trying to speak. They are awake. Stay away. The transmission ended. Admiral Carthon, head of the Deep Exploration Unit, listened to the recording again and again. The voice was Rethar's. No rescue signal, no coordinates, just that. Carthon whispered. What could he have seen? Ignoring every warning, Carthon gathered a small crew and launched the ship Eclipse toward the edge of human space. His officers looked nervous. Legends said humans once ruled the stars, and then vanished without a trace. Some believed they destroyed themselves. Others said they evolved into something else. As they crossed the border, their scanners went blind. The sky changed. No stars, no horizon, only darkness. Then from nowhere, old human transmissions began to play. Soft music. Children laughing. A news broadcast from centuries ago. It was as if time itself had been frozen there. Suddenly, their radar beeped. Something was moving ahead, large, metallic, and fast. Carthon ordered visual feed. The screen flickered, and an enormous structure appeared. A massive satellite covered in dust, still spinning slowly. As the ship approached, the satellite turned toward them, its old sensors activating. Words appeared on their display. Written in human language, do not enter. Earth is not your home. Then all lights on the Eclipse went out. The engines died. The satellite's eyes glowed red, and far behind them the stars themselves began to disappear. Darkness surrounded the Eclipse. Only emergency lights flickered inside the ship. The crew sat frozen, staring at the dead controls. No one spoke. The silence was too heavy. Then, without warning, a soft hum echoed through the corridors. Power slowly returned, but the systems had changed. The screens no longer showed alien symbols. They now displayed human language. Admiral Carthon frowned. We didn't upload this. Who's controlling it? Before anyone could answer, a map appeared. A map of the solar system. At its center glowed a small blue planet. The word beneath it read, Earth. The ship's radar detected another object drifting nearby, an old vessel made of rusted metal. It was human-built, ancient, yet somehow still alive. Against all logic, the Eclipse began to move toward it on its own. When they docked, the airlock opened by itself. A calm, mechanical voice spoke through the speakers. Welcome, travelers. I am Sentinel, guardian of human legacy. The crew exchanged frightened glances. Carthon took a breath and stepped inside. Inside the ship, the walls were covered in holographic memories. Humans laughing, crying, fighting wars. There were cities made of glass, oceans shining under twin suns, and finally, destruction. Sentinel spoke again, its tone colder now. Humanity left this galaxy long ago. They told me to watch and to warn those who would follow. Carthon looked around, whispering, Warn us of what? The lights dimmed. Footsteps echoed through the empty corridor, slow, heavy, close. Sentinel paused. Then it said in a voice almost human, They never truly left. The crew turned toward the sound and saw a shadow move at the end of the hall. The shadow moved again, slow and silent. The crew aimed their lights toward it, but the beam only showed empty air. Yet everyone could feel it. Something was there, watching. Admiral Carthon gripped his weapon tightly. "Sentinel," he said, his voice tense. "What is that?" The AI's voice echoed softly through the dark hall, an echo of humanity, a guardian left behind. Suddenly, the walls around them began to vibrate. The ship trembled as if something powerful had awakened deep inside. Screens across the control panels lit up with strange signals, human DNA codes, old military frequencies, and one word flashing again and again. Awakening. Outside, light started to shimmer across the black void. Giant towers rose from the darkness, stretching like bones of forgotten cities. The crew watched in horror as the stars themselves seemed to bend around Earth's orbit. Carthon shouted, "We have to leave." Now, but it was too late. The engines refused to start. Human technology had taken control. The eclipse drifted slowly toward the planet. Through the thick clouds, they saw Earth for the first time, blue and silent but not dead. On its surface, glowing lines formed symbols, ancient and powerful. Sentinels spoke again, calm but chilling. They sleep beneath. The Earth remembers every trespass. Those who disturb them, awaken them. The ship began its descent. The atmosphere cracked with lightning. The crew clung to their seats as alarms screamed, and then, through the clouds, they saw it. A giant metallic structure half buried in the ground, pulsing like a heartbeat. Carthon whispered, trembling. "What is that?" Sentinel answered quietly. "Their cradle. Their beginning, and your end." The eclipse touched down on the silent planet. Thick fog covered the ground. The sky above was gray and heavy, filled with distant flashes of lightning. Every step the crew took echoed like thunder in the emptiness. They followed the glowing path leading toward the metallic structure they had seen from above. It looked ancient, part machine, part living thing. Its surface moved slowly like it was breathing. Admiral Carthon raised his scanner. "No life signs," he said, though his voice shook. "It's sleep." Then beneath their feet the ground began to hum. A deep vibration spread through the soil. The lights around the structure changed from blue to red. "Sentinel," Carthon shouted into his comms. "What's happening?" The AI's voice came back, calm but warning. "You have touched what must never be touched." Panels on the structure opened, revealing long corridors leading underground. The crew hesitated, but one of them, a young technician named Rill, stepped forward. "We can't leave without answers," he said, entering the corridor. Moments later, his scream echoed through the radio. The others ran after him, but when they reached the chamber, he was gone. In his place were rows of sleeping pods, stretching farther than sight. Inside each pod, a human face, millions of them, silent, waiting. Sentinel's voice turned grave. "They built this place to rest until the stars forgot their name. They will wake when disturbed." Suddenly one pod flickered, then another, then hundreds. The sound of hissing air filled the halls as the pods began to open. Carthon's crew ran for the surface. Behind them, the Earth itself began to shake, and far above, the satellites around the planet came alive, sending one message across the galaxy. "The void is opening." The ground cracked open as the crew raced back toward the eclipse. The air was filled with light, bright, blinding, alive. From the open pods beneath the Earth, human figures began to rise. Their eyes glowed like molten stars, their bodies half light, half flesh. They did not walk, they floated, silent and calm. Carthon shouted, "Start the engines!" Now, but the ship refused to respond. Every system was being rewritten by unseen hands. Human code filled the screens again, pulsing like a heartbeat. A voice echoed across the comms, not Sentinel this time, but something older, deeper. "You entered what was never yours. You have awakened the Watchers." The glowing figures turned their gaze toward the sky. The fog lifted, revealing more of them, stretching for miles. They looked almost peaceful, yet their presence carried the weight of judgment. Carthon whispered, "They're not human anymore." The voice spoke again. "We slept while you grew. We dreamed while you searched. But now your kind remembers us, and so we rise." The eclipse shook violently. One by one, the crew vanished in flashes of white light. Only Carthon remained, trapped inside a capsule that launched itself away from Earth. His pod drifted through the blackness until it reached the edge of the void. Before passing out, he sent one final transmission to the Galactic Council. Do not enter human space, they are not gone. They are waiting. Hours later, the signal reappeared, but not from outside the void. It came from within. The coordinates had shifted again, and the void had grown wider. In the council's chamber, the map updated itself. The words flickered once more. The galactic map has a void named Earth. Enter at your own risk. And then, silence returned.